No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama!
This is a total, shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast, Carabao Cup think piece episode. That's right. It's time to get political on the pod because you know who won a big game, and it's not fair.
We've never been so right in our lives, Carl. Number one, PSG going to win the Champions League. Tick, right for that one. Number two, no one cares about Newcastle in Saudi Arabia until they beat Liverpool in the final. Tick.
Yeah, there's questions that none of us want to ask that need to be asked now.
The articles are coming out and it's literally, the tone of them is, hey, did you guys hear about this? It's like, yeah, you're supposed to be telling us.
Yeah, I know it's more of an elephant in the room than kind of a hidden success behind. You know, Dan Byrne is from Newcastle, but do you know how he got there? It's like, yeah, they bought him from Brighton. Like, who's this article for? Someone doesn't follow the league at all? What's going on? But yeah, it's they've all come out this kind of this anti-Newcastle propaganda. Well, it's disgusting to see. You know, trying to tear down this fairy tale story. It's I don't know. You look at the way they were bought by the PIF, the Saudi investment fund, and it's not a fairy tale story at first glance. You know, and I guess at later glance, at a longer glance, it's still not a fairy tale story either.
No way, shape, or form.
No, well, no, probably not. It probably doesn't qualify any way you look at it, right? It is just a team that's invested a lot of money, and yeah, it's football generally, though. It is about money. It's about who has the most resources. And then, to be fair, who uses those resources the best. You know, like Brighton is a good example where Dan Byrne came from. You know, you're buying these players who are kind of diamonds in the rough. Like, Dan Byrne is a decent player, you know. I don't know how he got to like 26 to only be discovered by Brighton. You know, maybe it's just kind of, he was too tall. Like, he can't run. He's 6'7", you know. But they would find these kind of diamonds in the rough, sell them on, and there's just like an infinite supply of these players coming in, and they're doing great. You know, they're qualifying. I don't know if they're in qualifying position for Europe this season, but I think I heard some mad stat where they won like 5 games in a row for the first time in the Premier League.
Wow,
Brighton.
really? But
yeah,
I mean, it's not too long ago they were kind of considered like relegation fodder. When they first came up, you would think like, yeah, they'll be down again soon. But they've turned themselves into the way you think of old Barclays teams, like a Watford or someone else who would be battling relegation. But in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, they're Premier League. Yeah,
well, I feel like they win like 2 games and they might lose a game. And they might win the next 3 games and lose 2 more games. And, you know, they never really get to the top 4 spot. My point is, anyway, is that like they're doing everything right. You would look at them and go, like, they're doing their absolute best. They're selling players like, you know, they're gaming the stocks. You know what I mean? They're buying low, selling high every single time. And the players they sell don't always go on to be huge successes, but they get the most out of them. The players they come in more often than not work out. And still, they're like mid-table. Yeah. You know, so you do need the money. You know, I don't think, like, you'll say Leicester. Yeah, that's fair as well. Leicester was the genuine kind of, wow, this team came from nowhere. They managed to win it in an off season, whatever, but they still did it. I just think, even from then, it's gone on another level where and maybe it's Man City's level of professionalism has driven people, because that was 2 years before Pep came in, if you remember. So like Pep coming in and Man City's dominance, it kind of focused people to be like, right, we really need to, you know, be on our game here to beat this level. Even to the point now where like we're kind of looking at Liverpool when they don't win the quadruple, it's kind of like a disappointment. It's like they are like gauge of like what a team should be capable of is completely skewed because of how good Man City have been. So yeah, I don't know if you're ever going to get a proper like, you know, fairy tale thing where a club just, you know, produce their own players and bought correctly. It's like they won't do that in one transfer window. And you need to do that because the next transfer window, you're going to lose half those players because someone is going to buy them. You're just going to do all the brain power for them. They'll buy them. Whether they work out or not is a different thing. But like, I don't see that ever happening where a team will win the Carabao Cup from the Championship or from League One. You know what I mean? It's just the gap in resources is just too big. So this is as close as you're going to get, was what I'm saying. And this, as I admit, is not a fairy tale story in any way, shape, or form.
Because it was funny, like we've talked before, and they had the sign up, I'm sure, again. It's been 70 odd years since we won a domestic trophy in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And like the scenes after it. But me and you, I think when we saw that banner the first time last year, we were like, have they not? Like, I always just thought, big stadium, big players. But think of the level of how hard it must be then to actually win something when like Newcastle can't win anything, who have always been a huge club with a huge stadium, and they mightn't have had the best owners, but like they always had unbelievable players, even at their worst, it felt like. So it's just, even for a Newcastle, it's like, yes, we finally managed to do it. And all it took was all the money in the world, which we haven't spent yet, admittedly, but it's starting. But it's just like, what hope do these other clubs have when even the underdogs now are the wealthiest club on the planet?
The wealthiest club on the planet, and what a hugely supported club with a big fan base, a big stadium. It has everything in place that you would need, and like they've won the Carabao Cup. No respect, every other team didn't win it, but like it's not like they've won the league. You know what I mean? They're probably, a few better players away from winning the league. So they haven't done that yet. And I mean, God bless your bad memory, Will, because I think last year I said, before they put up the banner, remember I was saying mad shit. I was like, I think it was like 1899 from the last time they won anything. It was like 170 years, I was thinking. And I thought I'd looked it up or something. I mean, that was the league. And then I was like, no, that's the league, And then it was like, no, they won the league in the 50s or something like that. It was like, not the 50s. So yeah, it's outside the big six. It's a fairy tale because you don't even pay attention to any other club. You have no idea of their history or like, I mean, I'm sure you probably remember the first time you heard that Everton won the league in the 60s. And about you were shocked, because I was shocked. I was like, Jesus, do they? Yeah. Dixie Dean. I was like, oh yeah? I just, you don't know these things. This isn't Premier League heritage. They didn't win the Premier League, therefore they didn't win anything. So yeah, if you're not in the big six who's won the Premier League title, and I mean 1992 onwards, not the the Division 1, it doesn't really come into your zeitgeist.
Yeah, not at all. And I think it played into the game a bit because the last time Newcastle were in that cup final against United were also on a trophy drought. Now theirs was like 5 years, I think. But still, they were going out there, living and dying by, we have to win this today, lads. This is gigantic. And Newcastle, I'm sure, were as well. Whereas this one, it felt like watching it, Liverpool were like, we have the league though. Like they were not out there being like, we have to win this final. And it felt like that was the difference. That Newcastle were like, no, the Carabao Cup means everything to them today. And you could just tell it didn't to the Liverpool team.
Well, we do have a guest on the show. It's the Man United body language coach who's getting paid 140 grand. So he's going to tell us exactly what they were thinking. But I did, and this you fall in these cliches probably because you know them. But I was watching that game thinking, Newcastle wanted more.
Where's my 140 grand a year?
Yeah, the boys don't want it today, I'd say. Is that all you need me for? Do you need to do anything else? Because that's my kind of take on the body language today. I don't know, is that fatigue? Is it genuine that they've won the Carabao Cup, most of them in recent years? And it's like, this is not going to, the last time we won the Carabao Cup, everyone made fun of us having parade. Exactly. Is that what they're thinking?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They have experience of, like you said, winning this trophy, and a week later they might lose in the league. And their own fans are like, shut up about the Carabao Cup. No one cares about it. You know what I mean? It's tough to switch that off. You've done it already. You might not have the hunger, even though this is a different Liverpool team to the last few years. But I don't know. Even just there was
but some of them are still there. It's like, this is like, the leaders of the team will be like the ones who get you up for these games. If they're not like really up for it, it's hard to be like, does this matter? I mean, the only person who looked up for it was Chiesa because he hasn't played all year.
Exactly. He was thinking, this might get me onto a starting position. I might get a few minutes out of this.
Why he wasn't was kind of mad, to be honest, based on how the other players played. I mean, I don't know why he hasn't played at all. If he's been fit, like, why isn't he not been playing?
it must be a fitness thing. There was a few odd decisions there must be more injuries than it seems, because like Kelleher got a start, and I'm sure he's been starting throughout the Carabao Cup, but like Kwanzaa was starting, there was a few other, and it's like, it's an international break from Monday. There's no Premier League for 2 weeks. So a lot of these lads, it's like, well, if they're not hurt, what are you resting them for? Do you know what I mean? Surely this is a big one. Play everyone. Play the team you've been playing. Like we only said a week or two ago, he's only just played the same starting 11 5 times in a row. And then it's like, time to change it. Right in time for the final.
Yeah, I guess maybe he heard that and thought maybe they do need a break. You know, maybe he's trying to play the media a bit. I don't know. The team did seem kind of like, this is the last game of this competition. Yeah, there's not like a round after this. This is it. Like, this is where you play it. Like, the goalie one is a classic where you have the cup goalie, and it's a bit harsh for him to play like the shitty games against, Plymouth Argyle or whatever, and then you go, oh well, now we're going to win something. You're not going to be on the pitch for this. No, like that always seems harsh. So if he's good enough to get to the final, then it should be fine. But I mean, yeah, other players you kind of think maybe, like when they played Jota up front,
yeah,
I was like, I haven't watched the PSG games. Like, well, I guess PSG are better than Newcastle, but like, it's the same level, really. You know what I mean? Newcastle in a final versus PSG in knockout Champions League is like, it's going to be the same intensity. It's going to be the same difficulty. It's, so yeah, some of the selection choices were questionable at best, I think. Especially like I said, when Casey comes on, he's, does well. It's like, why he's the only player they bought. He's the signing of the season. He's the only player they bought, and they haven't played him. It just seems strange. But yeah, I guess that's probably a negative way to look at it. Newcastle were very good, and they were up for it.
Yeah, big time. Big Dan Burn. We talked about this. He was the perfect Saudi Arabian signing, because you don't want to go too big too early. You don't want to win in the Champions League in year 2. And again, like I said, it's beyond think pieces then. There's sanctions and stuff. You got to work your way up. We said Dan Burn was the perfect big guy signing. Get it? Literally big guy signing. And now look, he's won you the Carabao Cup. He got a goal in it. It's perfect. Now on to the next Dan Burn. I'm sure he'll be cast aside soon.
He's part of the club's history now. To be fair, that's he'll be put up on the walls. In mural form, I'd imagine. Him scoring that header over towering. That word towering over someone is used a lot, but he was towering over Alexis McAllister. That was one of those ones where McAllister like looks around and goes, "Oh shit, who am I on?" And then, "Oh no, the biggest guy in the pitch." "Oh no, we've got this one wrong, lads. It's coming towards me." Yeah, I mean the Isaac one. The second goal, that was very good. And they scored just before that. It was kind of like, all right, they're going to score again here. Like, sometimes when a goal is disallowed, it's like there's not many chances, and you go, oh, that was the chance. This one felt like that it's coming.
You were lucky. They let you away with that one.
That was a let off. It was coming. And yeah, they did manage to get the equalizer, send the penalties. But and I did think as well when they got the goal back, when they forgot to go back, that this is classic now when you're 2-0 up. Oh fuck! 70 years, 70 years of hurt. It's all going to end. They got to go back, and you go, oh shit! Everyone just defend for the next few minutes. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the fatigue on Liverpool. They didn't have the energy to do it. Salah again. He didn't have the best game. But you know what, Will? If there was a journalist reporting on this podcast, if this is the overlap,
yeah,
the headline would read Cahill's 5-word summation of the Carabao Cup final.
The Carabao Cup is a trophy based in England.
5-word summation of Mo Salah's zip in form.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Football is a team game.
Nice. That's good. Yeah.
Gakpo, it's easy to mark Salah. Double up on him, make sure that he doesn't get the ball. If Gakpo, who's been playing excellent this season, probably their second best player all year, I would say. If he's not on the other side, and like I say, it's Jota, Diaz, and Darren Nunez, who've scored 2 goals between the last 40 games, some shit like that.
Yes. So Jota has scored 0 goals in the last 10, 1 Nunez goal in the last 13, and 1 Diaz goal in the last 18. So 2 goals in 41 combined games for the three.
So yeah, you have to worry about one player. Whereas if Gakpo's on the side, you have to worry about another player. And then if you have two players that you're kind of watching, it's easier for those others to like have more space and it's easier for them to score. If it's all just Salah, if it's one player, it's easy. And like Gakpo came on again before Chiesa, and he wasn't fit. It looked like he wasn't ready to go there. So yeah, he has 2 weeks out to recover. But I think that the dip in Salah's form has been largely down to other players not playing. And that's not like a slide on Salah. That is, like I said, football is about a team game. It's about width. It's about balance on either side. Like Cole Palmer, same thing. Apparently he's continued creating the same amount of chances he was at the start of the season, but they're just not finishing them. The cohesion isn't there. And when they're not scoring goals, they don't have to worry about Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
And it just dries up. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're one player there, if they have one weapon and it's you, like that's easy to stop. Just double mark him, make sure he doesn't get the ball. Let them kick it. Let them shoot. You hear them shouting this, So, yeah, I think this kind of hate watch of Salah is like, it's whatever. But like, I think that's, if I had to guess what the problem is, it's like, he doesn't have help out there.
Yeah, because I'm sure you saw the stat knocking around where it was he hasn't scored a non-penalty goal in a final in his career. And he's been in a lot of finals. And I saw a lot of people criticizing him for that. But that reminded me of two other players, Harry Kane and Henry. It's like, I know they're not bad. All three of them can't be bad. Do you know what I mean? It's probably something else going on.
Well, it's you get to a final and Henry scores or Kane scores. Like, well, he was the fucking guy who you meant to stop.
Exactly,
Yeah. Don't let him score. He's the danger man. Jesus, we put him up on the board, a big red circle. What you do out there? They're all trying to stop the guy who's definitely going to score.
Exactly.
There might be a 100% chance that Salah scores if he gets a chance, and a 70% chance that the other player scores. You stop the best player. And that's why finals are usually shite games as well, because you have the other team analysed within an inch of their life, and you just like cancel each other out and just try and like get to penalties. That's why they're always so bad.
That's why it's always unlikely heroes scoring in the finals, because it's the guys that are like, I didn't even think of Dan Burn. Didn't even think of him. Because I did see some Man United fan was published like, that's 2 goals for Garnacho in finals now, 0 for Salah. It's like, that speaks a lot to what those teams going into the finals are thinking about Garnacho on the pitch then.
Yeah, they're not minding him at all. They're watching Bruno Fernandes. That's
exactly.
Like,
that's how it goes. I'm sure Bruno's record in finals is awful.
Yeah. And yeah, there is probably great players who scored in finals, obviously. But I guarantee you look at their teams and they're great teams.
Exactly.
It's not just one player, or not that Liverpool is only one player either, but like, Salah is the man on form he's having the season of his life. He's playing for a contract. We all know what's happening, So it's I think the whole kind of Salah thing is, you wonder where it all ends up with the contract and all the rest of it. Like, there's been no word for months about that. So it's not a good look for him, I guess, to be like looking really old and past it at the important games in the season.
He's just wrong. He timed it just off by a month or two. And like even Liverpool as well. This, like you said, as soon as the quadruple was whispered by, I think it was Peter Drury, it all came crumbling down. Now it's like they'll probably just win the league, which is still unbelievable. They'd have taken that start, but it's the vibe at the end of the season then. And it's like you could have gone from Liverpool, half-arsed going to Salah, Trent Van Dijk, like, look, do you want to stay or not? We just won the fucking treble, mate. Do you want to stay or not? And now it's like, please stay. We would have won the other ones, but it's kind of fizzled out. We need you still. Now the ball's back in their court a bit, but like you said, Salah is drying up at the wrong time.
Yeah, I think if they win the league, it'll still be great. It won't be kind of as good as a win because it won't be close. You know what I mean? It'll just kind of peter out. So and you'll be watching the Champions League for a few weeks now. And saying we've been out for ages. I also just looked up there. That was Dan Burns' first goal of the season. So
of course it was.
In 36 games, 1 goal, 0 assists. He's not a goal scorer. That's he scores in finals, and obviously but then again, Isaac scores as well. So it's the logic kind of falls.
The spirit was broken by Dan Burn first. You see.
Yeah, local lad done good, Dan Burn. I also shout out Dan Burn because his first call up to England at 32.
Yeah, big week.
Big week for big Dan Burn. Yeah, like I say, that it's as close as you're going to get to a fairy tale story in certainly the Premier League, anyways. In this in England, you're not going to get any better than this. So if you want a fairy story, I would say take this and like it.
At the end of the game, Peter Drury launched into monologue mode. He said, "At last, at long, long last, the curse is broken." And I thought, the curse?
Whoa! I know there's a curse involved. It's a gypsy hex. What is this? New information coming out about the Newcastle trophy drought. Maybe they've just been really bad for years, Peter.
Yeah, that's because they had your man Sports Direct guy in charge. That was their curse. They would have probably won loads without him.
Yeah, I mean they've had some what you would call it, cold classic teams over the last few years, But I mean, it just takes huge money being pumped in, and I don't know what Sports Direct guy. What was his name? Something.
Mike Ashley.
He used to get his shirt off. Mike Ashley, yeah. Mike Cash, they used to call him. Because he used to keep all the cash to himself.
It's not the best nickname. Might keep the Cashley, maybe.
Aye, that's better. But it's too long-winded. It's might keep the Cashley is good, though. But even if he didn't keep the Cashley, he didn't have enough Cashley to put into the club in the first place. He couldn't compete with
Cashley.
Sorry, man. Yeah, you're not going to compete with the massive entities that is Man United and Arsenal, and then Liverpool and Chelsea and City as well. He just didn't have the facilities for it. Didn't have what it needed to become a successful team. So yeah, look, they're back. I mean, we did call as well that they valued this Carabao Cup very high. They were thrown the last few games, didn't care about them at all. It seemed like all for the right to wave a big trophy around at the end of the game.
They wanted. Yep. This is step one of, we are not a big club, but you know what I mean? It just gets the ball
working.
rolling. Yeah, it's working. And you can point to it when you go to sign lads for £100 million. You go, look, see that? We won that. Do you want one of them? They're not going to know what trophy it is. They're just going to see a trophy.
First of many, they'll say.
Exactly.
You're getting in at a great time. We are about to kick on to really exciting things. We won a trophy. We want you to be part of that. It sells itself really. But yeah, I mean, you don't really see owners in the Premier League kind of lifting. It's an American thing, I guess. But it was Yasser Al Rumayyan, who is the was he like the CEO of PIF?
He's like the face of it, I think.
The managing director of the PIF, I should say. The Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, for anyone who wasn't familiar with those acronyms. They bought Newcastle in 2021. And he's just lapping it up. Well, he's spent all the money and he's bought, a team that has won the Carabao Cup. I mean, do you think this is something you'd like to see more of? You want to see like big Jim on the pitch sometime in the Europa League?
Absolutely not. I would turn my stomach. I hate seeing the owners because, and to be fair, it is very hard to put a squad together and like a manager and all that to win a thing. But it's just like no one wants to see it, mate. You're just so far above everyone else in the stadium. I don't need you waving things in my face as well.
Well, it's just like American teams are franchises and they move willingly to different cities and they it's a money thing, and if they don't get fucking tax breaks from the local city, they'll threaten to move and stuff to build their stadiums and all that stuff. It's not like a local sports club. Whereas like a lot of these teams long ago now than maybe you might want to admit, but they were sports clubs. They were local kind of community pillars.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. So for like a foreign owner who's got more money than the other guy, to come in and like wave the trophy around, it is kind of like, what is this? What has this become? And
it's funny as well, because like say when Leicester won it, and seeing their owner be fine, because apparently he was like really close with the team and they all loved him. And, he convinced a lot of them to come and join the project and stuff. But it's when it's like the wealthiest man in the world waving the trophy. It's like, well done, genius. You put it together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Actually, the Leicester owner was kind of like, even before he had the tragic accident. Yeah. Sometimes they kind of retrospectively go, he was a great guy, But But even when he was alive, it was like, no, this guy's one of the good ones, you know?
Yeah, you'd always see him even just after regular games, he'd be hugging the players and stuff like that. They really got along with him. So, like, yeah, in that circumstance, it's different. But like I said, just when the gazillionaires on the pitch being like, yes, Dan Burns done it. It's like, yeah, of course he did. That's why you spent the money on him.
What does this mean for Eddie Howe, Will?
What's the last time an English manager won a trophy in England?
Well, they've never won the Premier League, famously.
Yeah, so I wonder, it must be a long time.
Jesus, yeah. I mean, who was the last English manager that won something in the Premier League?
Did Redknapp win a trophy?
This is far back as Redknapp with Portsmouth.
Let me look it up.
2008 Redknapp. Is that what we're talking about? That is insane if that's the last one. Let's just name English managers. Big Sam. Don't think he won a cup or a trophy.
Don't think he won it.
Frank Lampard came close. Lost to Arteta.
Yeah.
Graham Potter.
Pardew.
Nope.
Danced his way out of the FA Cup semi-final.
So close yet so far. Tony Pulis. Did Chris Palace win?
I have it here. Eddie Howe is the first English manager to win a major trophy in the country since Harry Redknapp led Portsmouth to FA Cup glory in 2008.
2008 is a long time for an English manager to not win anything in England, isn't it?
Surely the FA had to, at some stage in the last, what's that, 17 years, sat down and gone, we should fix this. We should put things in place to try stop that happening.
Like promote English managers?
Yeah, something along those lines. And like, I don't know. We were talking before about Eddie Howe, and Eddie Howe led Arsenal. I'm sure they're probably wanting him after Tuchel, you would think.
Oh, that's interesting. After Tuchel crashes and burns this World Cup.
Inevitably, I saw a lot of different football TikTokers who I don't even follow. So these videos must have been pumping out of English fans annoyed at his international selection, his first squad selection. Saw a lot of, what the hell is Kyle Walker doing on this list? Why am I seeing Marcus Rashford on this list? So they're already annoyed at him.
Yeah, not a good start. Was it Rashford, Walker, Jordan Henderson, and I guess before this game, maybe Dan Burn. But he's proven his worth. But it is kind of like, okay, whatever experience, and it's, for these qualifications. But Dan Burn, is this his first call up? I think it's his first call up. Like at 32 he doesn't have experience. He's just old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what the thought process there with Tuchel, but yeah, I mean, if they go to the World Cup in 2026, I mean, look, just the odds of them winning it is I think they could, but they probably won't. And then they go, right, we need to change this up. Henderson out, Maguire out, Pickford, get rid of him. His arms are too short. Rebuild around Jude. We need an English manager who's good with young players. Eddie Howe is in. But assuming that he slid with Newcastle at that point.
He could have had a failed stint at Arsenal or Man United by then.
I mean, I guess he's maintained his status as the manager for this season anyways. Do you think they might do if they win the Carabao Cup, which they don't make Champions League and they go, right, you're sacked? Would they do that?
No, that'd be mental, I think, because like we said, it's a slow process. Not that like they're taking it bit by bit, but it's like surely now the war chest has opened a bit more in the summer because like, okay, there's a bit of an excuse like, oh, all the competition money we got, and that confirms us to the Europa League. There's more zeros we can add on to things. Do you know what I mean? I think they're still pushing bit by bit to like get Eddie Howe anyone he wants, and we'll let him go once that doesn't work, I would say.
Yeah, although it is very tight. I was looking at the table there. There's like 4 points between 10th and 5th. So like it's very tight if Newcastle get Europa League or Champions League. Well,
I think do they get Europa League now for winning the Carabao? Is that a thing?
Oh, I know it's a thing for the FA Cup. I don't know
maybe
if
they
the
get
Carabao
conference.
Cup falls into that.
Maybe that would make sense.
That would be terrible. I think they wouldn't like that at all.
Yeah.
That would be worse. Yeah, I don't know.
I like the idea of all the Newcastle players lifting the trophy, overjoyed, and then you hear the whispers going through that we're confirmed for the Conference League now. and all the smiles just drop.
Right, now we need to really lock in. This is our season starts here. Get out of the Europa Conference League and into Europa League, preferably Champions League, but just as long as we're out of that shitty competition. Yeah, no, it wasn't the best game, but the narratives, I was watching this like, this is going to be a great narrative for the podcast. We got so many narratives we can spool here for this. I guess for Liverpool now, they're out of the Champions League, out of the FA Cup, out of the Carabao Cup. I'm sure you saw Jamie Carragher saying that he actually prefers the Carabao Cup to the FA Cup.
Shameless. He said it's actually better. He said he didn't say he prefers it. He said it is better.
You know what? Let's just play the clip because we'll say, well, he didn't say that. Well, listen to this.
I love the Carabao Cup, mate. I think it's a better competition than the FA Cup. I think there's obviously more prestige in winning the FA Cup. You say to someone, we won the FA Cups, it's bigger than winning, the Carabao Cup. But I think the Carabao Cup for a long time has been a better competition. I think the FA Cup is helping now with having no replays, but I think the Carabao Cup's midweek, the night games, every game's finished on the night, and also the fact that the competition is a standalone cup final in, early March. I always think the FA Cup final's fighting with the Premier League. Who's going for the title? The Champions League finals only around the corner. It sounds terrible.
That was proper shameless stuff, wasn't it? You would never say that otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, come on. When Man City were winning this, it meant nothing.
Yeah,
because everyone's like, "This is bullshit competition." I genuinely think there's people. I remember people saying that we should scrap it. It should be scrapped. Yeah, Carabao Cup is just pointless, isn't it?
Remember, there was talk during COVID that the top 6 teams, I don't know if it was like the top 6 in the league at the time or the top 6 weren't going to be in it because it's like, it's too many games, lads. Just scrap that one. Give that to the rest of them. Well, it never came to pass, but it was definitely talked about.
Yeah. But now with the likes of United and Liverpool winning it in the last few years, well, honestly, Liverpool have won it and it's fine. Liverpool have won the league and they're competing in Champions League. So for Carragher to come out and say, actually, this is a huge competition, it's like, why? Like, just if you're getting caught in these conversations, talk about this stuff, you're doing too much media. Just stick to the stuff with no one asking in the Carabao Cup. You know what I mean? Like, you don't go on here and then find yourself in a position where you have to lie and say, actually, the Carabao Cup is important. Or say, yeah, it's not that important. Either one is bad. But yeah, just don't do that interview. Don't do that podcast. Where the fuck he was when he did that. But yeah, sorry, I got derailed there because I remember him. I saw that there today and I was like, oh my God, like just don't even, why? Forget about it. Don't even bring it up.
He said, because the Carabao, it's in March, April, it's its own thing. The FA Cup gets caught up in the Champions League. What are you talking about? Shut up.
We're always waiting for the Champions League when the FA Cup was on. It's no one's thinking about it. Even if no English teams are in it, no one's thinking about the FA Cup. They're all thinking about Champions League. Whoever's in this. My point was one competition left, the league. They don't play a game now for 2.5 weeks. Time to reflect. Time to just get the bodies right. They're still a good team. And like I say, I think when they have Gakpo and Salah, they'll be back to pretty much unstoppable again. Psychologically, though, is there anything that could seep in here?
I think the international break has come at the perfect time. It's like, okay, things are unraveling a bit here, lads. Go on to your countries. We'll take a break. We'll start again in 2.5 weeks' time, like you said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if they're just going from game to game to game, and they're like, you lose to PSG, and you lose the final, you think, oh, they're huge games. How many games are left in the league that we have to win? 5? We haven't won 5 in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because in the stats come out, I haven't won in the last 4, whatever it is, and it's 2 Champions Leagues and a Carabao Cup final, and yeah. Whereas if they won the Carabao Cup, they might be like, yeah, we're the best. Good to know it.
Yeah. Good. I knew that. I was just confirmed.
And then you come back after 2 weeks, you just go win 5 more games. That's easy, I think, honestly, they've had wobbles throughout the season. I was in wobbles. Again, our idea of what a team should be able to achieve is skewed. Wobbles is like losing a game in the competition that other teams are in. It's like, whoa, that's not good. It's
it would have been better if that didn't happen.
Yeah. Is this the start of the end for Liverpool?
We've been saying that for 4 years.
Yeah. Just because, the standard is Man City and they never seem to lose. Or if they did, it didn't ever seem to matter for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess what the issue has always been that the players or the teams chase them, which is Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, and to a lesser degree, Man City, and they don't seem like they have what it takes to push on and win it. Even though Arsenal would beat Chelsea at home, which I thought for all the world they'd probably lose that one because it was just Chelsea going badly, can't score, playing Arsenal, they'll definitely win that, But Mike Marino comes up for his third goal of the season, or I think fourth goal of the season now. He's almost as many as Kai Havertz. I think he's catching them. But that's the problem. There's you don't see anybody who's going to like go on a run now. So yeah, I think they probably have it in the bag. And look, trebles, doubles, quadruples, that's for a team who's bored to win the league, like City. When they won 6 out of 7. When at the time they won 4 of the last 3 or whatever it was. Win 3 leagues in a row. Then you go, maybe we could do 2 competitions in 1 year. But if you haven't, I've heard it. People kind of like trying to have as a funnily as a stick to beat City with, or a stick to beat Liverpool with, is say. It's like, they've only won 1 league in the last 30 years. It's like, which is a pretty funny way to like skew that. So it's like, all right. I mean, they won it, the context. You can't just, like if you say, they won the 60s and you didn't see it, you don't know what the context was. But you know the context. They won 1 league in 30 years knowing full well what that was about. It's like,
Man City have only won 7 of the last 80 Premier Leagues, Carl.
Yeah. It's that kind of thing, just throwing numbers out there that sound worse. They've only won like 7% of the leagues that they could have won, or whatever. Like, but my point again being that like it'll still be huge if they win the league.
It's tough that they're not going to get the moment, it feels like, where it's like, that was the one where we won the league. It's just kind of a slow fizzle into acceptance that, yes, we've won it. And here's the date where the parade will be. Here's the date where we'll get the Guard of Honor and stuff. But it doesn't feel like a moment, which a lot of Premier League teams do get. They get the goal or their moment. You're like, yes, I can accept it's happening now. So it feels like it's not as big as it maybe could have been for a lot of Liverpool fans. But again, once they actually do lift the trophy, once the parade does come, it's just as real. Do you know what I mean? They didn't even get a parade the last time they won it. It was taken from them.
Yes, winning the league in front of the fans for the first time since 1990, that is a fact. That is true. It'll be extra special. And yeah, I don't know. The moment, I guess, probably came months ago. I would say probably that Darren Nunez goal, the 2 goals he scored, that I think was like, wow, they're going to do it. This is written in the stars.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal kind of had their own bad moments of like, they just couldn't win. And it was like, oh yeah, they're not going to do it. But like there was...
The moment was Saka getting stretchered off. Liverpool fans across the country throwing their drinks in the air. Yes!
Yeah. So not a kind of an Aguero moment. I mean, there's obviously a good amount of grey area between Aguero and Saka getting stretchered off. Like that could be... that's a memorable moment there. But they didn't seem to have it this year. But yeah, I think... Yeah, if they get back to winning a league every 5 years, they'd be fucking happy out. If you said you're going to win the league,
sweet, yeah.
a league every 5 years versus 0 for 30, yeah, I'll take 1 every 5. Thanks very much. Yeah. Don't need any quadruples or doubles or anything like that. I just need the league every 5 years to be and competing all those other years. That's the key. If it's not just like nothingness for 5 years and they come out and win one, they're getting great days, they're getting great teams, great moments all throughout the season. And then you're winning trophies, getting to finals. I mean, it's a good time to be a Liverpool fan. Anyway, you look at it.
It's not as exciting for me. You know what I mean? The star of reality. And you, Carl. What about us? Where's our Premier League fun?
It would be close to Liverpool in Manchester, I would say, Will, because even though they don't win any games very often, well, I guess they won at the weekend. Now they won at the they won the weekend.
Yeah, they won twice this week. Yeah, they won the Europa and this one.
They won the Europa League and they won the league, the limited Premier League fixtures that are on this weekend, some of which we've referenced. It's all looking up. It's all looking up. The new 200 million stadium about to be built. It does. I don't know if it's just the way things look now, but is it AI? It looks AI for whatever reason.
Yeah. So when I first saw it, I thought that's an AI someone typed in a description of it on like fucking ChatGPT or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what they got out. But apparently those are the real plans, which I'm sure they are. But that did get me thinking, ooh, I wonder were the first people whose jobs were get lost to AI were the stadium render guys. Because like it does, you can't even tell the difference. So it's like they're immediately gone.
It's the same kind of like galaxy style of materials. It looks like it's like it's not going to look like that in real life.
It's got a sheen to it. Yeah.
And like, maybe before they had 10 designers, and now they have one guy who just types in AI and then edits the AI designs to make it not look so weird. But it was announced as like a circus tent type design for the but it's the whole like surrounding area. It's like the biggest outside area in Europe or some mad claim.
Yeah.
This is a club that has no money, Will.
It's very strange.
They were about to run out of cash
in December.
End of the year.
It's very strange because why, again, it just does feel like Jim Ratcliffe and co. I don't know if they don't have PR people. Maybe they don't want to pay people to do PR because that's why pay for them. I can handle the PR.
Yeah.
It's just like, why would you do all those interviews saying you're broke if you know you're going to be announcing this? Like, this is not going to garner much sympathy for you, lads.
Yeah. No, it all seemed a bit kind of out of touch, you might say. We're just go on about, free lunches and stuff like that. He never got a free lunch.
Me a free lunch.
I never got a free lunch in my life, pal. I saved this club. We're about to run out of money. There's. We said about. I guess we're just like half quoting now, but like the one where about the packed lunches where he said there was no money left. I had to go to the bank to get a loan out to pay for those free lunches. Like that's the levels of brokenness they're at. And there's like 200 million stadium announced, and it's look at these plans and it's going to be this huge. It's like, again, I know the same money for lunches, the day-to-day spending versus like future spending of 200 million. It's not the same money. But again, just from a PR point of view, you can't go out and say, like, I know it looks bad, but like we're in crunch time here. Like we have nothing left. We're just trying to survive here. And then you go, but we are huge projects planned, big things come. It's like, well, like
the roof is LED.
Yeah.
It harnesses the power of the sun. It's like, well, how are you building that? What are the 3 towers?
It just looks bad, in people's minds. Like no money, and then you're going to build. It just doesn't add up for people.
Yeah, and I will say they did very cleverly take down, I think, one of their biggest critics by letting Gary Neville do the interview with Jim Ratcliffe. Why aren't you doing this? Why are these people not getting money? Blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, the ad for the stadium announcement is immediately you're met with Gary Neville's unmistakable voice being like, more than a club, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my God.
In the style of
He's
the
in
Trident.
there with them.
Fucking Aegis. Yeah, Gary Neville loves money too. We know this. He does every show going. He was also a former club owner and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, he got the interview with Jim Ratcliffe as long as he, endorsed the club afterwards. No matter what I said in this interview. Like the one where they were talking about the cutting the 40 grand for, the former players.
Ex-players.
From like the 50s and 60s. Like these weren't like millionaires, because I saw a lot of people like, why are you paying players who don't play anymore? I saw like a lot of that and it was like, just, that's
would you like them playing? They're 90.
But we paid them before, Will. They don't work for us anymore. These kind of like, fake kind of capitalists who think they're going to be billionaires one day, who just wanted everything to stay the same. Just everything stay the same till I get there. That's their whole. Yeah. I want to be in the top one day. Don't ruin it till I get there. But the one where Gary Neville says, why don't you just have a dinner with Bruno and Maguire and raise the money that way, rather than just cut it outright? I was like, no one mentioned that. If that idea had been mentioned to me, maybe we could have done it. He said, well, do it now. It's like, yeah, well, leave with me. Maybe I will. It's like, it's because he doesn't care. He didn't ask for a solution. If someone gave him a solution, he said,
not that he's never heard of a fundraiser.
Yeah.
It couldn't be fucked, man.
That idea never occurred to me. Wow, fundraiser. You raise the funds. Wow. So like a big free lunch, you're saying, like, so someone else pays for my free lunch. Interesting. you know?
And we pay the players, do we? No. People do. I'm not following. Never heard of it.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable kind of, again, like just again from a PR point of view, it's not even like it's unbelievable, but just like that this was his strategy here. It's because it's just so
Swap them around. Do the stadium ad before the interviews.
it's just so transparent. Do you know what I mean? That like, and for Gary Neville as well, that he's like doing this grilling interview, and he got him a few things, I suppose, and he asked him tough questions. But then also, it's like you're getting paid off for this as well. Like you're saying, wow, the way you run this club is a disgrace, and it's bad, and it's not fair. But I will do your ad to tell you that.
Yeah.
For the
Look at the size of the stadium.
yeah, for the privilege of telling you that I don't agree with anything you do, I'm going to help you. You know, it's like what? Like you should have said no, fuck off, Jim Ratcliffe. You know, do the interview or don't. But like you can't play both sides. It's like his fucking his stupid logic about the Qatar World Cup when he went on and haven't got news for you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can't talk about these issues or you can not talk about them. And then it's like, well, you just talk about them, not go. It's like, you've caught me in a lie here, you know?
Again, very Ratcliffe of never occurred.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, who do you think you're outsmarted by saying that? Like the dumbest people in the world who thought, he's right, you can talk about it, you can't talk about it, you know? Two choices.
Yeah, there are two options. Yes.
Yeah. You can talk about it at home on your many platforms that you have. Like you'll be blacklisted for anywhere for talking about it. You have free speech. This is the same thing. It's like, he's like, well, I gave him tough questions. Well, why'd you do the ad, Gary? Well, I had to do the interview. No, you didn't. You didn't have to. You could have. You wanted to do the interview. You had to do nothing. He could look you dead in the eye and give this logic and think, yeah, I'm fooling you, you fucking idiot. I'm the smartest footballer in the world. You know, it's just the whole thing is mad. And like I said, the people who pretend to care are just actually trying to enrich themselves always. So it's just like, yeah,
it's mad. And again, I don't think so the design of the stadium, it is circus tent looking, but the idea behind it is there's like three big pointy pillars that'll go that way into the sky, and the idea is it's supposed to be like the trident on the badge, the devil's trident.
Yes.
But I was just thinking, looking at it, is like, again, I get we're the Red Devils. I get that it's on the badge. You're already evil enough, billionaires. Don't be saying this is where the devil lives.
Yeah, you'd be kind of thinking in this day and age, we're trying to get away from the devils a little bit.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, a lot of people said it. I think it all came crumbling down with Ten Hag when we did an ad with Roy Keane being like, "Sign the contract. You're a devil for life. We're Satan." I think it all fell apart then. It's just that the universe doesn't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the marketing meeting, you know, where it's like a deal with the devil, but it's contracts and it's like you're in it for life, just like, you know, like you're kind of trapped because we're so bad. Because like you thought you were supporting a good team, but we're a bad team, you know. And they were like, "Oh, is that good?" That seems kind of like we're kind of saying we're never going to be good again, and you're trapped in this. You have to support us. Are we forcing people to support us?
Okay, how about this one? How about you're stuck in the 90s forever? It'll never be as good as it used to be in the 90s.
Yeah. Sometimes you get a good idea at that, and people like the idea, and then people kind of find problems with this, but you go, we don't have a better idea than that though. I liked it initially. So I think we could just...
I wish you hadn't have said that thing.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're still going to do it, but that is going to annoy me.
Yeah, and now that's all I can see in it, but... Is there any other ideas? No, we're all still thinking about the first idea. Yeah, me too. We'll just try and we'll make sure it doesn't sound like that, and then it does, you know. Yeah. And like I said, that 90s erasure ad where Adidas was the sponsor or whatever, like that got great reviews on YouTube. You can look it up and go, "This is class," and like it's a well made ad in bits. I mean, the kind of cameos from Angry Ginge and stuff like that is just like, I hate that. You know, but I mean, if you were...
There's an audience, though.
There's an audience for it, you know. And if you didn't know who Angry Ginge was, you know, as an older fan, you'd be like, oh, just a Manchester guy, I guess, you know. Well cast, you know. Like, if you didn't know who it was, you wouldn't even get the reference. You're just like, yeah, he's just a guy playing... They're watching a Sunday League game, I guess. You know, that's what you think. You wouldn't think anything else. So it works, Will. It works for everybody. But... Yeah, the whole kind of devil stuff. I think they're obviously going with it, but I would have thought they'll try and get away from that now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it feels like they're the only club left that's still like, we're the thing on the badge. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal Stadium isn't a giant cannon.
Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's like 5 or 6 years ago, you could have been like the Gunners. You know, were shooting down the competition, and then like, you know, stuff that's happening now. It looks it looks really bad. You know, same with like deal with the devil. You know, and then like we're cutting all the wages of the staff. It's like, yeah, that's pretty bad. What? Are you the devil? You know?
I don't like this team anymore.
Yeah, because teams can go, like if it's very specific at that, it can go out of fashion very quickly. Where it's like, we are Manchester United, you know? That will always be true. And you can be good and you can be bad or whatever, but like it's not like connected to any other kind of iconography. It's like, you know.
A good example, a few months ago, we might have talked about it in the show, but Tottenham put out this like press release being like, don't call us Hotspurs anymore. Just call us Tottenham.
Oh.
Or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe it said, don't call us Tottenham, just call us Hotspurs. It was like something because they're just like, they want to be a bigger brand. And it's like, fucking guy in India doesn't know what Tottenham is. Just call us the brand. You know what I mean? So they're going the opposite way now that I think of it.
Okay.
They're leaning more into the like, we're the bird team. I don't really know what a Hotspur is, to be honest. I think it's the bird on the crest. Is that right?
Hotspurs. Well, that's very American, I guess. Like the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, you know. But I think that's fine. Guns and devils.
Yeah.
Inherently bad.
It's asking for trouble. Yeah.
In the good times of say devils and guns, it's probably fine. It's like, yeah, it's cool, kind of, I guess, to like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, edgy.
You know. But when it's like, oh, you're doing evil stuff, or there's like multiple wars going on, and you're like, pew pew, you know, it's like, no, it's bad taste, you know. We shoot the competition out of the sky. It's like, oh, don't say that, you know. Don't
mention that.
Not today. So yeah, I don't like, a bird is fine. I think the Hotspurs is fine, although I don't think that's going to catch on. Not in my lifetime, will. But yeah.
What are you going to do? Call Spurs? There's already a Spurs in America.
The Spurs. Well, that's it too. They're the San Antonio Spurs, and that's the Spurs on boots. I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's surely.
We'll say it is, but you know, no one uses them anymore. So they're stuck in time. They're cowboys. It's cool. It's not going to change. If you're going to pick a thing, it can't really be, you know, changeable. Can't, like the devil it is just the devil. Like you can't. It's an evil thing. It's a bad guy. It's like the worst guy.
The devil, famously the worst guy.
The devil is like, he's up there. He's like,
he's bad news, man.
He's literally the goat. Isn't he like a goat sometimes as well? He's a bad guy.
I think so, yeah.
Baphomet. I think he's many bad things in one. So you're the red guy, the red devil, you know, and then you start cutting jobs and lunches and, you know, building stadiums on taxpayers' back. It was like, yeah, you're like the evil club. that's what you guys are.
I'm going to tell you, they are 100,000,000% knocking down some houses to build that stadium as well. You know what I mean?
They'll be reimbursed, I'm sure. You know,
by a deal with the devil. You mean?
Yeah. See the stadium? It's a sign of the Devil's Trident in the city that we've built.
Sign here.
Yeah. I would lean away from that, you know, if it was me, but
just make a big fucking boring dome like everyone else. Why are you trying to be different?
I don't mind different. Honestly, I don't mind different if it works and it's cool, but I just think the devil stuff needs just like cool on that, you know. It's not going to work out long term. And
that is like we said, it's kind of circus tent looking, but like even when you look at the AI renders, it's impressive and all.
Yeah.
Like it's if it actually comes across, it's going to be amazing looking. But at the same time, also, there's a part of your brain that's like, that looks dumb. Like, it just looks like a big, dumb building. It's an eyesore, like.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of personality, I guess you could say. And that is just the renderings also. It's hard to convey that. The kind of like, in any rendering I've ever seen, the people walking along just look so unrealistic and unreal. Like people you don't know. It's like, where is this? Where's it meant to be? You know, this isn't Manchester.
There's someone... A good example is there's someone in one of the renders wearing a Lindelof jersey, no one's ever worn a Lindelof jersey in real life, one. And in 2032 or whenever the stadium's coming out.
Yeah, wasn't the one the hipster kid wearing the John O'Shea jersey? Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Which I think they changed for different audiences and stuff. So maybe that was just for us. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, look, I mean, it's this is more what we're saying about, like, if you want to compete, you do have to have 200 million euro stadiums, realistically. So I guess it's probably needed, and they need to. I mean, I think a lot of people would be like just happy enough to fix up Old Trafford. A lot of the match going fans, like, I like it the way it is. Just if it wasn't as bad, we don't need a whole new structure. Don't need to be completely different. Just get back to winning and fix the roof.
There was talks initially that it was going to be keep Old Trafford, or maybe a smaller version of Old Trafford for the women's team, the academy team and stuff. But I think the costs are too much. So lost in all the stuff of like, yep, new stadium, it's going to be huge, 100,000 seats. It looks like this. It's crazy, blah, blah, blah. There was a very small line that was like, and of course, the demolition of Old Trafford will be complete in 2030. It's like, wow, that's mad.
Yeah, it happened. A lot of good stadiums. Highbury, of course, is apartments now. West Ham's, also Upton Park. That's long gone. They're into the Olympic Stadium. I mean, what's going to happen to Everton Stadium?
Yeah, no idea. Yeah,
that's progress. Will time marches on, regardless of what we do. And this podcast marches on,
regardless of what we do.
Regardless of what any you do. I mean, at this particular moment in time, it's a 18th of March. Don't know what's happening next, Will. I know there's no Premier League for like 2 weeks. I saw that there's a England team announced, to much dismay.
I don't know what they're playing. I know the Ireland game is a final / relegation. It's a playoff game. But I don't know what the hell the England team is announced for.
So there's obviously some kind of international games happening. We should probably look them up, see what we're doing this week.
Yeah, well, we got 2 Ireland games.
2 Ireland games. What that during the week, at the weekend?
I think one is Wednesday and one is Sunday, I believe.
Well, there you go, folks. International podcast.
Yeah.
Number 2 coming up on Thursday.
2 finals.
Thursday or Friday.
2 legs.
2 finals.
Against Bulgaria. I don't know nothing about Bulgaria.
We'll take them. No, easy stuff. We'll be doing the Ireland game, any other international stuff, news, fallings out, bust-ups, training ground, schmozzles, all that good stuff. That's going to be on the bonus episode. Click the link in the description of that episode. Ultras only. Is there ultras for international games?
Good question. I don't think so. I don't feel
there is now.
Yeah, you're the world's first. Well, actually, no. I feel like in South America, you always see video of Argentina and Brazil fans pattering each other. I'm sure some of them are ultras of some form.
I think the ultras of different clubs come together to become ultras of the international games.
That's like a peace treaty. That's sick.
Yeah, like an Avengers of ultras.
Yeah, we should team up with other podcasts. Paid services.
I think they already do that, Will, just without us.
Oh,
they're all into this podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not getting on the overlap anytime soon, to be honest. I think the invite is not in the post. But if they want to come in ours, boost their numbers with our huge fan base,
Gary Neville?
then they can.
Gary Neville might.
Think you listen back to the episodes where we dogged him all the time?
No.
Said he's a fucking idiot.
I don't think he's ever listened to himself. I do think that. I think he's on so many podcasts now that he just posts and goes, doesn't look at it.
Yeah. He strikes you as someone who's never listened to a podcast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes you get that from like clips on the overlap, the way he's talking and stuff. It's like, why is he being so serious? Like, why is he being so TV hosty here?
Yeah, no, he doesn't have time to listen to podcasts. He's doing them all the time,
That's true.
Anyways, if you ever want to be on this podcast, open invitation there to Genev and Phil. Actually, you know what? Only Gary, if you can get Phil on as well, same time. We want both Nevilles or no Nevilles. For everyone else, we got an Ultra episode during the week. Be sure to get on that. If not, you listen to this on Spotify, give us a 5-star review if you can. Boost up the rankings. And that's about it.
I think that's all.
Yeah. For everyone else, we will see you next week for more international football action.
Hell yeah.
Good luck.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Melodrama upon melodrama.
This is a total, shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was balls off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the
Plenty
time.
of time, no problem.